What is up, guys, and welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. Today we are going to be looking at the top 10 Zetas for Grand Arena defense. A few of them can be used on offense, but they're Zetas that you can put on one character that's going to greatly increase the viability of the team you're using, no matter what aspect you're using them in. And these do not include legendary characters, okay? I'm not including Darth Revens, even Jedi Knight Revens, stuff like that. These are characters you can farm, that you can use, that can be viable at any star level. And they're going to help you tremendously, not only in Grand Arena, but in other areas of the game as well. So, I do not have them favorited probably the way that I should, because I don't want to mess with my favorites right now. But we're going to start with, and these are in no particular order, Qarth Onasi in the Old Republic. Qarth's Zeta, his leadership Zeta, which states that whenever an enemy is inflicted with a damage over time effect, all Old Republic allies recover 3% health and protection. You're going to be giving a lot of damage over time with Canderous and the rest of the group. If you have a Zeta on mission in Zalbar, that's going to be extremely helpful as well, but it's not nearly as important as the Qarth Zeta. This allows this team to be a much better team defensively. And what is the goal of defensive teams, guys? It's in an area of the game where a lot of people can full clear, or maybe not. You want to be able to force them to use 5 characters or force them to use 2 teams against you to help them get as few banners as possible. So we're putting these Zetas on these characters not only to potentially stop them cold, but to make them use as many characters against them as possible. And with Qarth's leadership ability here, that is going to help tremendously. I use Qarth, Mission, Zalbar, Canderous, and L3. L3 is a great character. Definitely think about throwing her into this lineup. Next on the list, we have Kylo Ren Unmasked. I have told you I am working on the First Order the way it is. And his leadership ability, again, you can put his unique Zeta on there as well. His leadership is the most important because, first of all, you're getting extra critical damage, extra speed, and extra turn meter gain. But when a First Order ally gains a status effect, which means it can be a debuff or a buff, they're recovering 5% health and protection. That is huge. Recovering health and protection allows you to survive longer. What's the name of the game when you're looking to Zeta characters for Grand Arena? It's recovering health and protection and turn meter manipulation. Turn meter manipulation is a huge part of the game, obviously. But Kylo Ren Unmasked Zeta is going to help you because not only are gaining extra critical damage and speed, you're going to be gaining turn meter, and then you're going to be getting health and protection as well, which is extremely huge. And again, I'm working on my First Order slowly but surely as well. I'm going to use Wat Tambor with that team eventually. Next, probably one of my favorite factions in the game, and I love to put them on defense. That's why I have them relicked. They're the Nightsisters. And what is the most important Zeta to put on a character to help this team defensively? It's Asajj's leadership ability. Because Nightsister allies have plus 30 speed, plus 30% offense, gain 50% turn meter when they fall below 100% health. That's huge. With all the heals that are going on with Asajj and Daka, you're going to be at 100% health a lot. And when you fall below that, you're gaining tons of turn meter. And then you have a 50% chance to remove 20% turn meter when you damage an enemy. This can't be resisted, so turn meter manipulation. This is pretty much AI proof, which means that on defense, it just does its job. You know, when you use Nightsisters on offense, you probably want to use a Talzin lead. That's what I prefer, but on defense, you use an Asajj lead. And this Nightsister team has stopped a few people cold. They haven't been able to get through it at all, which is why I really focused on them with their Zetas and getting them to Gear 13, and I'll slowly get Zombie there as well. Next, we have Geonosian Brood Alpha. Makes Geonosians very viable. I always lay them on defense. There's only a few teams that you can use that can successfully take out well-modded, well-geared Geos. Listen, I've faced a full Gear 13 Relic Tier 7 Geos team. I never got past it. Because my Traya team with Scion, Nihilus is not Gear 13, they got wiped out. That's usually the best team to use. But putting a Zeta specifically on Geonosian's Brood Alpha's leadership ability allows basic ability of Geonosians to deal 10% more damage for each buffed enemy. And then the other one as well with the Queen's Will. At the start of the encounter, you're summoning a Geonosian Brute that taunts for 1 turn. So you're starting with a tank that taunts instead of having to use an ability that brings them to the battlefield. but he really takes Geonosians to the next level, and they're one of my favorite, along with Nightsister's, defensive teams to use as well. Next, this character we're going to look at is I use on offense mostly now. I have used her on defense with Django-led teams, but it is Nest. Nest is an amazing character, viable at all stars for early game players, and it's her fighting instinct ability. Yes, you can use her without the Zeta, but what makes the Zeta so important is you add the taunt ignore. You can single-handedly take out Ewok teams just with Nest alone, just with one character, because she can ignore the taunt of Paplu, take out the Elder first, and you're off and gone when that happens. And not only are you ignoring taunts, which can help you in all aspects of the game, you're adding health steal, which is 2% stacking when an enemy loses a buff or debuff, and there's going to be a ton of buffs and debuffs spreading across the field when you use Nest in no matter what fashion. Like I said, I've used her on defense as well, but she's a great offensive plug-and-play character that can help finish off teams. Now, the next character I'm going to put on here is probably controversial because a lot of people don't think Phoenix teams are as important, but let's say you're an early game player getting into Grand Arena and you have Phoenix geared, leveled up because you need them for certain requirements in the game to get Thrawn, to use their ships, stuff like that. The most important character to Zeta is Kanan Jarrus's total defense. Let me tell you, I have faced in the last 3 Grand Arenas, I think I've faced 2 Phoenix teams they put on defense that are all gear 13 with relic tier like 3. They can be tough to get through. I can't just use my Palpatine team that's at gear 12 to take them out. Specifically because of Kanan's total defense, because Phoenixes don't have a cleanse. They don't have a dispel until you put this Zeta on Kanan. When you put this on Kanan, yes, you're going to be getting turn meter with him and 50% turn meter to other Phoenix allies, but this dispel for the Phoenix faction is huge. It's the most important Zeta if you want to lay him on defense, and trust me, I know a lot of people think it's insane, but they are a good, not great, but they're a solid defensive team, especially for early game players. Next, we're going to look at Bastila Shan, just the original Bastila Shan right here. Her leadership ability is amazing. You can use it to split up Jedi teams. I use her on offense a lot because I've discovered that when I use her as a leader with Jedi Knight Revan or with other Jedi to face off against Nightsisters, I can take out Nightsisters that are Relic, Gear 13 and Relic pretty easily with my Bastila team because of her leadership ability. Which, yes, one turn taunt on Jedi tank allies at the start of the encounter. Okay, the important part is this. The add 150% tenacity with protection up. With the leadership ability, you're getting 200% protection up, which can't be dispelled. This may be one of the best leadership Zetas in the game, honestly, especially for a free-to-play player. So when you're facing Nightsisters or teams that want to try to, a Palpatine team that wants to try to stun you or stuff like that, it won't happen when you have protection up. It's amazing, and you're dealing more damage with that too, by the way. But you can split up different Jedi teams with Bastila, Jedi Knight Revan, General Kenobi, Anakin, stuff like that, and she really makes a difference, and she's a good defensive character as well. I've seen a lot of people lay her as a defensive leadership with General Kenobi in there, and maybe Zeta Barriss, make it a nightmare, a stall-out team to take down. But please consider putting one on Bastila Shan, her leadership ability. If we're going to look at a droid team, I am not including General Grievous in this because General Grievous' Zetas are probably one of the most important, but if you're looking to put a solid droid team together, the most important Zeta would be the B1 Battle Droid because it adds 50 stacks of Battalion to the B1 Battle Droid. When it only has 50, it's not nearly as useful because, by the way, B1 can do quite a bit of damage. It helped me get General Skywalker. But it also lasts because of all the stacks that it has. And when you only have 50 stacks, it doesn't last very long. Putting this on the B1 Battle Droid is going to let the droid team survive longer. And I always use General Grievous on offense, but there are a lot of people that use him on defense as well, and they can be a nightmare to take out. In fact, I might consider switching a few teams on offense and defense and putting General Grievous on there instead because that droid team is that good. Next, we're going to look at another Jedi, because this Jedi can fit into any Jedi lineup. I, again, use this in the Nightsister lineup that I use with the Bastila lead. It is Jolie Bindo, and his That Looks Pretty Bad ability, which you revive all defeated Jedi allies at 50% health with crit hit immunity for 5 turns. When you can revive people with almost full health, it's a done deal. One of the best abilities in the game. It makes Jedi Knight Revan teams tick. You basically have to have him if you want a good Jedi Knight Revan team. If you want to split up squads in Grand Arena, this ability, this is probably a person you'd want to use more on offense. I use him on offense a lot, but he's not going to hurt you defensively because you could still get a revive and stuff like that as well. Great ability, free-to-play character. For newer players, you can use him at any star level because he's still going to get that ability. And then last but not least, this is a character that's also going to be controversial because a lot of people don't use a Bosque lead. You use a Django lead. A lot of people on defense are starting to use Django leads and stuff like that. But I know my bounty hunter team isn't strong enough to be able to last. It's always going to get taken out. So what character do I use to make sure they have to use 5 full characters to face them? A well-modded, well-geared Gear 13 Django team can be lethal, especially if you throw Nest in there. But Bosque's leadership ability is going to help you. They have more health, they have more protection, so you're forced to use more characters, and it's the Omni Hunt ability. When I face a Bosque team, when they're using defense, I always use JTR, but I'm usually required to use 5 characters. So again, we're looking at the banner to character ratio. And this is whenever an enemy suffers a debuff or resists, all bounty hunter allies recover 5% health and protection. So you're going to be giving debuffs, you're going to be giving you're going to be recovering health and protection. Again, name of the game, recovering health and protection. So you're going to be able to survive longer. That's added on to the extra max protection, tenacity, and defense the way it is, which is huge. Again, I know my bounty hunter team is going to get taken out. I just want to make them use as many characters as possible. And in my opinion, the Bosque lead helps do that the best. And you can get the contracts decently easy with a Bosque lead as too, because you just have to damage the enemy, the weakest enemy 10 times. It can be harder to get with the Django lead. Once you get the contracts, you do even better. So that is my top 10 characters right there that you should put a Zeta on that are going to help your teams tremendously in Grand Arena and in other aspects of the game, by the way. We have a Qarth lead, Kylo Ren Unmasked lead, Asajj lead, Geo Brood Alpha, Nest, Kanan, Bastila, B1, Jolie, and Bosque. Please leave comments in the comment section on other characters you think I should have included in here. Maybe some under the radar characters. I know that Vander Chewie is a great character to have as well for a Scoundrel team. Again, I wanted to limit it to 10, not including legendary characters. I can make a video about that as well. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash the subscribe button, like the video, click the notification bell so you can be alerted to all videos that I post. I'm also leaving a link to my Discord server, Patreon page, and Twitter page in the description below. Check those out. And as I said, please leave comments in the comment section. Constructive criticism, video ideas, what do you do to help you in Grand Arena and stuff like that. And I hope this video helps you and newer game players as well. Otherwise, peace out and may the Force be with you.